Which choice best describes the overall structure of the text? Changes to vegetation cover and other human activities influence carbon and nitrogen levels in soil, though how deep these effects extend is unclear. Hypothesizing that differences in land use lead to differences in carbon and nitrogen levels that are not restricted to the topsoil layer, 0 to 30 centimeters deep, Chukwuebuwa, Buka, Okolo, and colleagues sampled soil across multiple land use types: grazing land, cropland, forest, within each of several Ethiopian locations. They found that, though, that across land use types, carbon and nitrogen decreased to comparably low levels beyond depths of 30 centimeters. So option A says it describes a phenomena that scientists do not fully understand, explains a research team's hypothesis about that phenomena, and then describes a finding that led to the team to refine the hypothesis. This is incorrect because although the first two parts are correct, where there's a phenomena that scientists do not fully understand, which is that changes to vegetation cover and other human activities influence carbon and nitrogen levels in soil, though how deep these effects extend is unclear, and that it introduces the research team's hypothesis, which is that differences in land use lead to differences in carbon and nitrogen levels that are not restricted to the topsoil layer. But the last part is incorrect, where it says that a finding that led the team to just refine their hypothesis. But this is incorrect because nowhere does it say that the team refined their hypothesis. So A is incorrect. B. It introduces an unresolved scientific question, presents a research team's hypothesis pertaining to that question, and then describes an observation made by the team that conflicts with that hypothesis. This seems to be the correct answer because, as before, it begins with an unresolved scientific question, then it highlights the research team's hypothesis, and then the last part highlights how an observation made by the team conflicts with the hypothesis, which is that across land use types, carbon and nitrogen decrease to comparably low levels beyond depths of 30 centimeters, whereas the hypothesis was that differences in land use lead to differences in carbon and nitrogen levels that are not restricted to the topsoil layer. Therefore, B seems to be the correct answer. C. Discusses a process that scientists are somewhat unclear about, introduces competing hypotheses about that process, and then explains how a research team concluded that one of these hypotheses is likely correct. This is incorrect because there's only one hypothesis discussed. There are no competing hypotheses, and neither does the team choose a hypothesis that is likely correct. Therefore, C is incorrect. D. Explains a hypothesis that has been the subject of scientific debate, discusses how a research team tested that hypothesis, and then presents data the team collected that validate the hypothesis. This is incorrect because nowhere in the text does it say that introduce a hypothesis that has been the subject of scientific debate, and then neither does the data that the team collected validate the hypothesis. Rather, it disproves the hypothesis. So D is incorrect, and the correct answer is B.